Mansory built a pickup truck. Go ahead and roll your eyes, because your first thought is probably some overpriced carbon fiber toy for guys who've never towed anything in their life. Stick with me, because this one matters for reasons that have nothing to do with the price tag. It's called the Gronos 6x6, based on the Mercedes G63, and it's not a render, not a rumor, not some concept sketch a designer posted for likes. 6 wheels, 900 horsepower, limited to 10 units, sitting on the road right now with a price well past €1,000,000. And the part that actually matters isn't what it costs. It's what this build predicts for the trucks you're actually cross-shopping. First, a confidence note, because this channel doesn't treat renders as news. The Gronos 6x6 is a confirmed on-sale build listed on Mansory's own site, not a concept sketch. Mansory starts with a Mercedes AMG G63, which already packs a 4.0-liter twin-turbo V8, making 585 horsepower from the factory. Then they stretch the body about 1.37 meters, widen and raise it roughly 250 millimeters, cut the back off, and turn it into a double cab pickup with rear hinge doors and a separate cargo bed. The whole rear half of the body is reworked, not just a bed bolted on. Under the hood, they push that V8 to 900 horsepower and 1,200 newton meters of torque. That's roughly 885 pound-feet for the Imperial crowd. They get there with larger turbochargers, a new intercooler, 2 high-pressure fuel pumps, revised engine and transmission software, and a sports exhaust with flap control. The result is a 0 to 100 kilometer sprint in about 3.5 seconds, and a top speed near 210 kilometers per hour in a 6-wheel truck. Now, let's be honest, you're not buying this truck for stoplight races. The party trick is sitting underneath it. The off-road hardware is real, not cosmetic. Portal gearboxes sit on all 3 axles, which lifts ground clearance by dropping the hubs below the axle line, a trick borrowed from the old G63 4x4 squared. The third axle gets a differential that locks both front to rear and side to side, so torque can find traction across 6 wheels instead of spinning uselessly at one corner. There's a cockpit-controlled tire inflation system that adjusts pressure in all 6 tires from the driver's seat. The same idea serious overland and military rigs use to air down for sand and back up for pavement without touching a pump. You can spec 37-inch off-road tires on 20-inch rims, or stick with road-oriented 22-inch wheels and Pirelli Scorpion ATR rubber if you're not leaving asphalt. Roof LED lights, a front winch, and impact protection round out the kit. 10 units, total, with the listing price north of €1,000,000. Then there's the Gronos Pickup EVO S, the even more extreme sibling. It pushes to about 1,000 horsepower through further engine work and higher capacity fuel pumps, and it exists as a one-of-one build, effectively a final edition statement piece. And this isn't a one-off stunt, because Mansory has run a Gronos family for years. The Gronos 2021 hit 850 horsepower in 10 units. The Gronos 4x4 ran 10 units on portal axles, and the new Gronos MY25 lands in 8 units at 820 horsepower with redesigned carbon bodywork. The pickup is just the loudest branch of that program. So how does a €1,000,000 German pickup actually stack up against the trucks you know? 3 names answer that question, and they reveal 2 completely different philosophies. Hennessey's Mammoth 1000 starts with a Ram 1500 TRX, already a 700-plus horsepower supercharged Hellcat truck, and turns the wick up to 1,012 horsepower and 969 pound-feet. The Last Stand edition capped production at 200 units, and turnkey cost started around $135,000 and climbs from there. That's the American tuner ceiling, and it starts with an actual American truck on a real ladder frame with a real bed already attached. Hennessey's job is engine and suspension work, not reinventing the body. Brabus takes the other road. Their XLP 800 6x6 Adventure, like the Gronos, builds on a Mercedes G63 and converts it into a 6-wheel pickup, landing at 800 horsepower and 1,000 newton meters. They even have an XLP 900 6x6 Super Black at 900 horsepower and 1,250 newton meters, which puts it right on top of the Gronos 6x6 in the power stakes. Brabus and Mansory are doing the same SUV to pickup trick on the same donor platform, just with different styling languages and slightly different power peaks. Where Mansory leans into aggressive carbon and theater, Brabus leans into a more polished, adventure luxury look. Either way, neither of them started with a truck. But here's where the game changes. Those 2 are tuners building trucks. The next one is a factory truck that needs no help. The factory benchmark sits below all of them. Ford's F-150 Raptor R runs a supercharged 5.2-liter V8 at 720 horsepower, with a base price well over $100,000 and a fully loaded sticker past $120,000. That's the wildest pickup you can buy straight from a dealer lot in America, no tuner involved, and it still trails the Mammoth 1000 by nearly 300 horsepower. The GMC Hummer EV pickup adds another angle because it's electric, four-figure torque, and factory-built, but it chases a different buyer than the combustion supertrucks, so the factory ceiling and the tuner ceiling aren't even on the same floor. Here's the contrast worth holding on to. Hennessey starts with a truck and makes it crazier, which preserves payload and bed utility because the bones are already a truck. Mansory and Brabus start with a luxury SUV and build a truck out of it, which buys you theater and exclusivity but leaves you with a compact bed and a six-figure art piece that'll never haul sheet goods. Same destination, opposite starting points, and that difference predicts something about where the next rung goes, which is the question this whole build keeps raising. Alright, labels on. Everything past this point is speculation. Confirmed ends here, and we're splitting this into two scenarios, conservative and bold. Conservative scenario, the likely path. Mansory keeps expanding its SUV lineup, not its pickups. They already built the Emperor's signature on the Rolls-Royce Cullinan, and the logical next moves stay on big American and British SUV platforms, the Escalade, the Navigator, the Range Rover. Picture a full carbon wide-body Escalade with a reupholstered cabin, more power, and a $400,000 sticker. That's the high probability bet, because SUVs sell in volumes pickups can't match at this price tier. That's the safe bet. The interesting question is what happens if they aim at a truck instead, because one detail in their recent history says they might. Bold scenario, the plausible path. Mansory has already shown they'll touch an American platform, because the Cybertruck elongation got the full carbon wide-body treatment. If they pointed that playbook at a Ram TRX, a Raptor R, or a GMC Hummer EV, you'd be looking at 1,000 plus horsepower, a full carbon widebody, forged wheels, and a six-figure interior with reupholstered everything, priced somewhere in the $300,000 to $500,000 zone. That would put them head-to-head with Hennessey and Shelby on their own turf, and it would be the first time a European ultra-luxury tuner went after the American truck buyer directly. Here's why the bold path makes market sense. The $100,000 plus truck zone is now normal, not exotic. The Raptor R clears $120,000 loaded, and the tuner ceiling sits well beyond that. There's clear room above both, and the Gronos 6x6 already proves Mansory can execute a pickup at a €1,000,000 scale. The engineering logic is simple. If they can sell 10 units of a 900 horsepower G63 pickup at that price, a 1,000 horsepower American platform at half the cost is a smaller stretch, not a bigger one. The hard part wouldn't be the build, it'd be finding enough American buyers who want a German name on an American truck. So let's bring this down to your driveway. Right now, none of this changes your actual purchase. The Gronos 6x6 is a 10-unit curiosity, the EVO S is one of one, and the American speculation is exactly that, speculation. If you're shopping a Raptor R or a TRX this year, this video doesn't move your decision, but the signal is real and worth tracking. The distance between luxury tuner and pickup truck is closing from both sides. Mansory building trucks, Hennessey pushing interiors and luxury. If Mansory enters the US truck space, expect Hennessey and Shelby to respond with higher-end trim and interior packages, because nobody lets a European rival walk into their segment unanswered. That competition trickles down, and the mid-tier buyer benefits even if they never touch a six-figure build. The luxury pack that's a costly option today becomes standard fare in a few years, when everyone fights for the top of the lineup. So, should you pay attention to Mansory as a truck builder? Not if you're shopping today, but yes if you're tracking where the $100,000 plus truck market is heading. A world where Mansory and Hennessey fight for the same customer means the ceiling on what a pickup can be keeps rising. Subscribe to the Spec Desk for more rumor versus confirmed truck breakdowns, and drop your take on a Mansory-built Raptor in the comments.